It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a beautiful summer's day. Exhausted, I slept in a crumpled heap as warm rays of sunlight shone through the open door and gently swept away the chill of a mountainside covered in ice and snow. "You were just lying there in your tent, outside of your sleeping bag, fully clothed, face down like you were dead," laughed Adina Scott. "You even still had your boots on." Our team had just summited Mount Baker, and it was true. I was totally wiped out after the long walk back across the eastern glacier. Once inside our base camp perimeter, safe from the risk of a crevasse fall, I had dropped my pack, untied my rope, and helped to stow away the group gear. I had somehow managed to get my crampons off, letting them fall beside my ice axe and helmet in a pile of snow. Then I had crawled inside my tent and collapsed into a deep, deep sleep. That evening, over a sparse meal of rehydrated beans and makeshift quesadillas, my teammates enjoyed a good laugh at my expense. I laughed right along with them. I couldn't help it, even though the climb had in fact taken quite a toll. I felt totally spent, beaten near to death. Even as a climber with more than a few years of mountaineering under my belt, I could not remember the last time I had ever felt so physically wiped out. But if my fellow climbers could have seen my face buried under the nylon folds of my down jacket as I slept, they would have seen that I was smiling. Despite the pain I felt in my aching joints, I enjoyed a feeling of supreme satisfaction. Having gotten up well before dawn to scramble across acres of rock and ice and pushing myself harder than ever before, I was on the path of something truly wonderful. And yet, even then, despite my efforts to get this far, deep inside I knew my role as a climber on this team was coming to an end. In camp that evening, I thought back to 3 days earlier. Straining against the weight of our heavy packs, we had hiked in along a dirt trail lined with trees and scattered with pine needles. Was it really just 3 days ago? As always happens in climbing, time on the mountain intensifies, and I felt that I had been immersed in this adventure for much longer. For the summit bid, we were 13 members in all, in 2 teams. 7 were students of the National Outdoor Leadership School, NOLS, there to learn with 2 instructors to guide us on a rope descent of Mount Baker, the second most glaciated mountain in the United States outside of Alaska. The other 4, NOLS instructors as well, came as a media team, armed with cameras and microphones to document our climb as we aimed to make history. Climbing Mount Baker was the second of several training missions to put the first majority team of African Americans on the summit of the highest peak in North America, an ambitious project called Expedition Denali. In a world where far too few people of color spend time recreating outdoors, our mission was to demonstrate that despite all evidence to the contrary, Black folks do indeed climb.